A beautiful old radio receiver, the BC-728, US Army Signal Corps, made for World War II. There are pictures from World War II where you can see American soldiers wearing this radio. It was a mobile receiver and there was a quite big antenna connected to that radio, and I have that antenna still in my garden, and it's now 2015 and the antenna is even not corroded. So it's a high quality antenna. This is the schematic. I hope it's visible. There are, however, pictures on the internet with the schematic from this receiver. And also in a German book I have found in the past, 2003, that there was information about this radio. Complete schematic. The whole circuit was made with battery tubes, and I made a big mistake in the past. I connected to the filament voltage 6 volts. So all the tubes in this receiver burned out. So there's no hope for this receiver apart from being in a museum or so. Very good information on in this German book. I have this German book also somewhere, don't know where, but okay. The loudspeaker transformer, and here we have a piece of rubber that corresponds at the outside with the knobs here, and you can press these knobs to get to the different frequency bands, and here you see the different frequency bands. As far as I can read it now, 2 megahertz up to 5 megahertz or 6. And I've tested this receiver in the past and it worked very good. Good sound, etc, etc. And the good thing, curious thing from this radio is that all the 3 stages are separated. So we have the antenna coil. You can tune the antenna coil here. You can tune the oscillator coil from the VFO. It's a superhead radio, super heterodyne radio. So you can tune the local oscillator, tune the antenna coil, etc. and switch to a specific frequency band. And here you can set the antenna coil. So it's very interesting how basic this radio was made. You had to tune it perfectly to get a good reception and transmission. As far as I know, it was also a radio transmitter. You can see here all the different coils for all these frequency bands. And here you see the battery tubes. I remove now such a tube. These are the typical battery tubes from those days, 1945, approximately 1940. Very interesting tubes, by the way. In Europe we had in the 50s also battery tubes, the Day series, Day AF, etc. And of course the whole radio transmitter was portable. And here we have the battery, the accumulator location, and here is the cable to that battery. It was a 1.2 volt battery. I think it was a lead acid cell. Don't know that exactly. Here we have the two vibrators. The vibrators were used to make the high anode voltage. And when you operate this radio with a battery, you can hear them hum on approximately 100 Hertz or so. You can take them out, and when you open it, I've opened one such a vibrator. It's a kind of relay inside that is switched on a certain frequency, say 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz, and on the secondary you can find a high voltage that was necessary for these battery tubes, operating on approximately 100 volts or so, or 90 volts. I've tested this radio on 60 volts and it worked properly. So a very interesting receiver, and it's also interesting that it is a World War II receiver, and I think it's a collector's item. Though the problem with this receiver is that it doesn't work any longer, because I've burnt out all the tubes. But perhaps you can find these tubes again. I have to test them, in fact, all with an ohms meter to see whether the filament was broken. But okay, very interesting radio, still in a very good condition in 2015. So a long time ago. This was high quality material. There was a lacquer layer on all these old military radios. You can find it many times. A high quality varnish layer to conserve it all very properly, because these radios were used in harsh conditions, moisture, the field, war, etc., etc. The schematic again, and the American soldiers had this radio portable on their back. So I think it's approximately 5 or 6 kilos. That's quite a heavy weight.